What's up, everybody? Supertrucks fan here for another weekly update. So I am back in the GT here, and first time driving it here in 2 weeks because I had the ATS-V that I was driving around, and then I also just got out of the GMC Acadia Denali as well as the Infiniti Q50 Red Sport. And so I have press cars again the next couple of weeks here, but the one I currently have is the 2017 Buick LaCrosse. Very nice, luxurious, comfortable car, but not very sporty, so I may take out the Mustang a couple of days here during this next week just to have some fun with it before the winter sets in, and then the following week I'll have a Cadillac CT6, and that's pretty quick as well, with the top of the line like 400 and some odd horsepower engine and stuff, so that'll be fun. And then the Mustang will sit once again until middle of December, but it's okay, it's keeping the miles nice and low, which is nice as far as resale values and stuff go. So I'm at 4,553 miles currently. And otherwise, though, I mean, it's just doing really well. I'll probably, once I'm done with the CT6 the first week in December, I'll probably swap my snow tires onto it then. I'm going to use the same snow tires that I had from the EcoBoost, since these are actually the same exact width tires that this has currently here with the 18s on the GT. So I can just swap on the existing snow tires that I used for 2 seasons already, but they still have plenty of meat on them. So I'm going to use them for a 3rd season here. And they're the Goodyear Ultra Grip Ice WRTs, and I'll talk more about what it's like to drive the GT on the snow tires, and I'll be talking, of course, this winter about what it's like to drive the GT in the snow, because I will be doing that. But yeah, and then otherwise, the only other thing I'm still waiting on is the Sync 3 update that includes Android Auto and Apple CarPlay, because that was promised by Ford for 2016 models by the end of the year. It's standard in the 2017s. 2016s have Sync 3, but they did not come with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. Apparently, all you need for Android Auto is an update that this Ford is just holding back on. For the Apple CarPlay, you do need a different USB hub for your center armrest here, apparently, and so that has to be swapped out for Apple CarPlay to work, and so it's just waiting for that in addition to the software update, and they still are promising it before the end of the year, so fingers crossed here. They still have a month to make it happen. Hopefully that does happen before the end of the year, because that is a really nice feature, and one of the reasons why I wanted to upgrade to the 16 here was for that. And so hopefully they include that here very soon. But otherwise, yeah, nothing else to report here on the Mustang. It's still doing great. I'll probably be taking it in for its first oil change here soon once it hits 5,000 miles, probably either December or I would say probably sometime in December I'll take it in for that first service. And but yeah, nothing else really to report on it, so I'll send it back to me at the news desk for this week's news. Right, for this week's news, the first thing is there's some new 2018 Mustang information thanks to a dealership employee who I guess was messing around with the old ordering system, and there was some 2018 stuff in there as far as what options you can order, even though ordering obviously isn't available yet. And so what they have here, there's some new colors, some new packages, some colors that are going away. First, we'll talk about the colors here real quick. So the new colors that are going to be added are Kona Blue, which is an older color that they brought back, Orange Fury, and then Royal Crimson. And so there's old versions of Orange Fury out there. It looks pretty cool. Royal Crimson is currently available on the Fusions and is an elegant color. But the bad news is they're discontinuing Grabber Blue, which I know is going to make a lot of you upset because so many of you are huge fans of Grabber Blue. So that looks like it's a 1-year only color, 2017. If you want a Grabber Blue Mustang, go buy one now, or at least before the springtime. Yeah, because that's going to be going away. Also, they're getting rid of the Platinum White color, which was a metallic white instead of the that was in addition to the normal Oxford White. You can still get Oxford White here for 2018, but Platinum White will no longer be available. So pretty crazy. As far as colors for the Shelby too, they kind of switched up the colors on those, and so you're going to be able to get Kona Blue and Orange Fury on the Shelby, and so of course you can't get Grabber Blue on the Shelby anymore either for 2018, and there won't be any more Avalanche Gray for 2018 for the Shelbys either, but there is a new color called Leadfoot Gray that only the Shelby gets, and so that'll be cool. This also means that it's confirmed essentially that the Shelby will continue to live on at least for the 2018 model year, which is very exciting to see. Some other crazy revelations here from this ordering system is the person that was messing around with the ordering system said that whenever they try to put in the code for the V6 version, either the coupe or convertible, neither came up in the ordering system as valid entries, which means there will most likely be the discontinuing of the V6 for 2018, and you'll just have the EcoBoost, and then also the GTs and the Shelbys and whatnot. So no more V6, which is crazy because V6 has been a staple on the Mustang lineup for a long time, and so crazy that that's going away. But with the EcoBoost being a better performing engine in just about every way, it kind of makes sense. And so who knows if the Mustang base price will jump up to the current EcoBoost base price, or if they'll lower the price of the EcoBoost remains to be seen. And we know that the EcoBoost will probably get some enhancements as well for 2018 to make it a little more powerful, so it could end up sticking around at least the same price point that's currently at. So yeah, other interesting things is the Shaker audio system is still provided as an option on the 2018s, even though Ford announced their partnership with Bang & Olufsen Play Systems, now owned by Harman. And so we even know that the new Ford EcoSport that debuted last week at the LA Auto Show, that's going to have an option for this new B&O Play system. So I was assuming that was a sure thing for the 2018 Mustangs, but it sounds like it's going to get the Shaker and not the B&O Play, which is a little bit of a disappointment because the Shaker system isn't the best, at least from a lot of people's perspectives. I actually personally like it pretty well, but it'd be nice to have a Bang & Olufsen system in the Mustang. Would be pretty sweet. And so it doesn't look like that's an option. Again, a lot of this stuff could change. I'm sure the colors and things like that are relatively set in stone, but packaging and options and stuff may change. Other stuff might be added in later on, but it looks like we're going to stick with the Shaker system for the 2018s. The other thing that's interesting is in the interior ordering selections, there is no option for a red line interior. It's just either you get the black, the ebony, the ceramic, and then I think there was another, like a darker tan or something that's possible, but there was no red line interior. So if you want a super rare Mustang for 2017, either get a grabber blue one or get the platinum white and then get a red line interior in it, because neither of those things will be around for 2018. It's not all bad news, though. There are a couple other things I forgot to mention on camera here, and that is that there's a bunch of new option packages that are going to be available, supposedly, according to the ordering system. The first is the option for a dual exhaust. Now, all Mustangs already have a dual exhaust, so that is assumed to be the rumored active dual mode dual exhaust system, which is very exciting. We know there's going to be the return of the GT Performance package, and then we also see an option for a Performance package 2, which could either be for the EcoBoost one, like there currently is, or it could be an enhanced version to kind of compete with the Camaro 1LE, and so that's what everyone else is hoping it could be. Other options here, though. 10-speed automatic is listed as an option for both the EcoBoost and the GT, and will replace the 6-speed automatic. There's going to be a Carbon Sport package also available for both EcoBoost and GT. I'm not sure what that includes, but may have some carbon fiber bits in it, and who knows what else. That's really the biggest wild card of the bunch. And then the last option listed is MagnaRide dampers as an option on both the EcoBoost and the GT, and those are obviously the same dampers from the Shelby GT350 that they're now trickling down to all the other Mustangs. And so we are expecting it on the GT, but also to have it available on the EcoBoost is pretty impressive. So all those options should really help to spice up the Mustang here for 2018 in addition to its new styling. All the pieces are slowly starting to come together. We're hopefully going to be seeing the unveiling of the 2018 Mustang at the Detroit Motor Show in early January, and if it doesn't come out then it'll be in April at the New York Auto Show, or March at the New York Auto Show. But hopefully we don't have to wait too long and it'll be in January. And so yeah, but exciting to hear all that stuff. Lotus this past week announced a new version of the Exige called the Sport 380, and it's the most extreme one they've ever made, 0 to 60, 3.5 seconds. It weighs 55 pounds less than the outgoing model, and the Exige was an extremely lightweight car to begin with. So the new curb weight here is 2,425 pounds. They pulled weight out of just about everything, including the front splitter, the hood insert, the wing, the diffuser, and they add some carbon fiber stuff, swapped some glass for polycarbonate. The battery is now a lithium-ion battery instead of the standard one. That saves like 23 pounds on its own. Carbon fiber racing seats, and lighter wheels and brake discs. And they even went so far as to delete half of the brake lights in the back there. So usually they had quad brake lights, and now there's just the 2 brake lights there. They also have smaller fog and reverse lights. So pretty crazy. And also you can get an optional titanium exhaust, which gets rid of 22 pounds. So all total, it's an extra 55 pounds that's taken off the car. And they bumped up the engine as well. So the supercharged 3.5 liter Toyota motor that's, heavily worked over by Lotus, the V6, it now makes 375 horsepower and 302 pound-feet of torque, which is a big jump over the previous one's 345 horsepower. And unfortunately, we won't be getting a it here in the States because, you know, the Exige ended up being illegal to sell in the States here after like a year or two ago because they didn't keep up with the safety mandates that the US required here. So unfortunately, this is only for Europe. So those of you in Europe, you're very lucky to be getting an even hotter Lotus. And some good news for people that are looking to buy a new Fiat 500 for the 2017 model year here, because Fiat's slashing the prices on all the 500 models, and they're also going to be better equipped. They kind of also simplified the trims and things like that, but essentially, the Fiat 500, the standard hatchback and convertible, will only be available now in Pop, Lounge, and Abarth trims. So there is no mid-level turbo model, and that engine's going away. The Abarth, though, is, like I said, sticking around, and it's getting the biggest price cut out of all the models. It's going to be cut by $2,850, so now it starts at just barely under $21,000, including destination, which is really sweetens the deal. It's an extra $3,000, and I mean, you can also get big discounts at Fiat dealerships on top of that usually. So really, I mean, huge value proposition there. I reviewed a 500 Abarth that was modified a couple years ago now, and it was a really fun little thing. And so I think it's a great option, you know, if you're looking for something fun that's inexpensive and, you know, front-wheel drive. Also, though, now the standard 500 Pop and Lounge models will both drop by $2,000. So the Pop starts at just under $15,000 before destination. And the convertible now, instead of being a totally separate thing, is just an option you can get on the standard 500, and it's a $1,450 option on any 500 model. And so yeah, and then they also have changed some stuff with the 500L, which I doubt you know, too many of you are interested in. And yeah, but they do offer some, like I said, additional content and things like that. Same goes for the 500X. They kind of simplified the trim lines, things like that. But the big news here is if you want a 500 Abarth, it's now only $21,000, including destination, as sticker price. So really impressive. And yeah, other news here, McLaren, they announced some new designer edition packages here for the 570S. And so basically what these do is you can build these cars already to get to, you know, this trim level, I suppose. You can build them on your own and get the same exact thing, but it usually costs more money to do it kind of customized through McLaren. And so these packages kind of simplify it, and they're going to mass produce in relative terms, you know, these different models here, and that allows them to offer all this exclusive stuff cheaper, and, you know, keep the cost down for them so they're not having to build them as one-offs constantly. And so these designer editions are going to be available in the Vermilion Red that you see pictured, and then also in Onyx Black, Storm Gray, Ventura Orange, and Silica White. So cool to see that they've added that. Now, that package costs $10,320, but again, they say that it would be more expensive with the options list if you were to do it, you know, a la carte, I suppose. So getting the package definitely makes sense, I guess, from a financial standpoint. Another thing that's pretty cool from a financial standpoint is the 2017 GTR. If you purchase one, Nissan is now offering you a free day of track driving instruction at VIR, Virginia International Raceway. And so unlike the other programs, like, you know, Ford has with the Focus STs and RSs, and Fiat has with the 124s and stuff, when you buy those cars, you get sent somewhere. You have to pay for your travel and stuff, but you drive their cars around the track. With this, you're driving your own car around the track, so you have to make sure your break-in period's done first, and then you take your own car around the track here for the day. They say that it doesn't void your warranty or anything, of course, which is huge, you know, and yeah, so it's cool. I think they say it's like a $2,000 value that you usually, you know, wouldn't get, of course. But again, the GTRs keep ballooning in price, so I'm not sure how much of a bargain that is anyway. But very cool, and an additional perk to hopefully help motivate a few more GTR sales. And in some interesting news from Jaguar this past week, whenever they are unveiling the I-Pace that I talked about last week, their all-electric new little crossover here for 2018, they also announced that by 2020, they said at least half of their models will be either hybrid or fully electric cars. So keyword is half of their models. So I'm assuming that the F-Type and stuff like that are safe as the other half of the lineup that will still be, you know, exclusively powered by gasoline. But yeah, apparently, you know, Jaguar, I mean, they just got involved with Formula E, and they're very heavy into the electric stuff recently. And so it only makes sense that, you know, they're going to be pushing for, you know, more electric stuff. And, you know, I mean, a lot of other car makers are going this direction as well. So not a huge surprise, but pretty crazy to see. Speaking of electric sports cars and things, though, NextEV just unveiled their Nio EP9 electric supercar in London here. And it's very impressive as far as all the numbers go. It looks cool, too. You know, we don't have too many pictures pictures here, but it does look cool from what we can see. I think actually Shmee150 did a whole walk around video of this, so if you're interested in seeing more details about this electric supercar, you can go watch his video on it. But anyway, so this supercar here has 1,360 horsepower from its 4 electric motors with 4 different gearboxes, and the thing will do 0 to 60 in 2.7 seconds, which is very impressive. Top speed of 200. It'll also hit 124 miles per hour in just 7.1 seconds. So seriously quick. And they say the battery system's swappable and it's able to be charged in 45 minutes and provides a range of about 265 miles as well. I'm sure if you were to hammer it, it would be a whole lot less than that. But cool nonetheless, and we don't have too many more details as far as, pricing goes or anything like that. But it's a very interesting idea and cool to see that. And hopefully we'll start seeing them on the road soon. I'm not sure there isn't any kind of release window. It's just a bunch of bragging about numbers and showing the car off. So we'll have to wait to, hear more about that as it's available. Another electric thing. So much electric car news, it seems, every week now. Buick this past week, though, unveiled the Velite plug-in hybrid at a Chinese auto show. And so there's not too much information about it either, aside from the few pictures that Buick provided. We don't even have any shots of the inside of it or any kind of details. We know that it's a plug-in hybrid, and it's rumored to be based on the Volt, so it's essentially a Buick version of the Volt that only China will be getting because, of course, Buick is one of the top brands in China, and so, they kind of have a lot of exclusive models there that Buick does for China since they're such a strong market for them. And so, but it looks interesting. It doesn't really look too much like a Buick, though, honestly. That's one thing. It almost looks more like a Lexus or something to me. But it looks good nonetheless, and so very cool to see that. And there's a couple cars that I didn't mention last week that debuted at the LA Auto Show last week. And so the first is Toyota has shown off the US version of the 2018 Toyota CHR, which was originally going to be a Scion, and then they killed Scion off, and now they're still bringing it as a Toyota here. And it's kind of supposed to be a competitor to the Honda HR-V and the Mazda CX-3, and it's very dramatic and more hip and radical styling, I guess, for those that aren't impressed, I guess, by a RAV4 or something like that, you can get one of these. Although overseas there's a couple different engines to choose from, here in the States we're only going to be getting a 2-liter 4-cylinder engine, naturally aspirated, at least to start. I'm sure there will probably be some kind of hybrid version eventually, but that's the launch engine at least, and it's going to be matched with an all-new CVT transmission here for the CHR, and it's going to have 144 horsepower and 140 pound-feet of torque, and power is sent to the front wheels only. So interesting to see that. Now, as far as they said, it's going to be available next spring here in the States at dealerships, and there's going to be 2 different trim levels, just the XLE and XLE Premium. But it's got a really impressive list of standard features: leather steering wheel, heated mirrors, dual zone climate control. It also has a 7-inch touchscreen display, and then Toyota's Safety Sense P, which has radar cruise control, pedestrian detection, lane departure warning, all that kind of stuff is all standard, which is really impressive. They didn't announce a price, but with all this standard stuff, it's going to have to be, I'd say, more than $20,000, but who knows, maybe they'll surprise us. Really impressive list of basic stuff. If you were to get the premium one, you get heated front seats, blind spot monitoring, and puddle lamps that project Toyota CHR onto the ground, and a few other small things. But cool to see that nonetheless. Another car that was unveiled at the LA Auto Show that I didn't mention yet is the 2018 Genesis G80 Sport, which looks fantastic. Obviously, it's the same Genesis sedan that's now called the G80, and this sports trim gives it that way more aggressive front bumper there and a more aggressive rear diffuser with quad exhaust tips. And I gotta say, it really looks striking. I mean, I really liked the G80 already, the Genesis sedan. I reviewed one and really enjoyed it. But man, this really spices up the looks on the outside to me. I love the way that looks. Very cool. So the big news here about the G80 Sport, though, is that it gets the twin-turbo 3.3-liter V6 that's out of the G90, a large, flagship sedan that they have. And the crazy thing, though, is it makes 365 horsepower and 376 pound-feet of torque, which is, a decent amount of power. But the interesting thing is, with the Genesis and now the G80, they offer a 5-liter V8 engine that has 420 horsepower and 383 pound-feet of torque. So the sport model is only for the lesser powerful engine, this twin turbo V6. I would assume that, that you would put the most powerful engine in the model you're calling the sport model. So it just seems a little illogical to me as to why they're doing that. I mean, some are suggesting that there's going to be a Genesis G80N performance model that will trump the 420 horsepower of the, standard V8 version and have even more power, which would be great. And maybe they'll finally just phase out the 5-liter V8 or something. I'm not sure, but just kind of an interesting choice there as far as that goes. Other upgrades the G80 Sport gets are an upgraded suspension that's been retuned and has continuously adjusting shocks now. And they've also given it ventilated discs at the rear as well as the front. And the 8-speed automatic has also been tuned to be more aggressive with its shifting. On the inside, we don't have any pictures of the interior, but it apparently has carbon fiber trim, aluminum pedals, a leather sports steering wheel, and leather seats with copper contrast stitching, which is all, very good as well. And they're going to be on sale this coming spring, and they didn't say any kind of price for the G80 Sport here either. So maybe it'll be less than the V8 version, maybe more. I'm not really sure, considering, like I said, it's in an odd position in the lineup here. But anyway, excellent job there on the little restyle they did there for the Sport. I think that looks really, really sweet. And the last news story this week is that BMW was spied testing their new 5 Series GT, which, they've done this before with the GT with the hatchback kind of funky looking body style that doesn't seem like anyone buys, but they continue to make anyway. And they're especially doing this new version, of course, since the new 5 Series has just, been released and going to be coming out soon here. But also because, with Audi just announcing this past week that the A5 Sportback is going to be coming to the States now. This is kind of the competitor exactly to that car. So we're going to have all these hatchback, coupe kind of things on the market very soon. And so we can't see too much from the camo, except obviously the shape, which is the biggest change with the GTs. Otherwise, looks mostly like every other 5 Series, with these new ones. And not a bad thing. It looks good. Like I said, just not a huge fan of that GT hatchback setup there. But anyway, that's it for all the news this week, guys. So I'll send it back to me in the car. Alrighty, so I'll leave you guys with a nice little acceleration here, like I always do. Second gear, going up this hill. There's some wheel spin. Oh, this thing is still a blast. Oh man, I'm gonna miss. When I put snow tires on this, it's gonna just spin the tires like even crazier. But this is just, I still love this thing. I know so many people would love for me to have a Shelby or, something like that, but I'm telling you what, the standard GT with regular daily driving is so much fun on its own. And honestly, I think nowadays actually kind of underrated as a really awesome and fun daily driver. But yeah, so anyway, thank you guys very much for watching the weekly update, and I'll see you guys next week. Take care.